Hello and welcome back. This is part B, the second part of the video about how to upload your final completed formatted document to Kindle's digital publishing platform. We've got down as far as selecting whether the document you've created is a public domain work or not a public domain work. You want it always to click not a public domain work because you've created yourself. This is what Kindle want. They want unique content, and they will reward you for unique content. One of the other things I said, apart from having to be careful about using public domain content, having to make it unique, they'll only pay you 35% no matter how you price your document if you have a public domain content. Whereas if you've got a unique content, not a public domain work, they will pay you up to 70% royalty depending upon your pricing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, moving on down, we target your book to customers, and this is very important actually. You're given two categories that you can ask your book to be included in, and Amazon will make the final determination, but you can suggest two categories. I've got bedtime and dreams and dogs. If you click here, add categories, you can come down and you can look at any of these. First of all, you may want to look at fiction and non-fiction. Let's see, juvenile fiction, juvenile non-fiction. Of course, these break down into subcategories and sub-subcategories. So I clicked here for juvenile fiction, bedtime and dreams, and animals and dogs should be down here somewhere. You look here, the categories given to you in the sales page. So we're under Kindle and Kindle Books, and we looked at this earlier, all the categories and subcategories. These categories do not completely equate with the categories you're given when you're choosing the categories to submit your book to. I don't know why that is. I think you literally have to just choose the best you can and let Amazon and Kindle do the rest. Then we move down to search keywords. They'll give you up to 7 keywords, and you separate each keyword, or you can have more than one word. You could have a phrase. For instance, those 4 words are counted as one keyword, separated by a comma. These are very important. You're only given 7. Choose the ones as though you were someone. Put yourself in the mind of someone actually looking for your book, searching for your book, using perhaps the search toolbar up here. So what would they type in, and that's what you want to actually have in that particular category. The other thing you can do is look at the books which are already in the top 100 and look at the kind of keywords that they have. So go to the top 100 categories and have a look. The keywords won't be immediately obvious, but from their description on their sales page, you'll be able to get some clues as to keywords that should be included. So use those wisely. You can always come back and replace them and update them and make changes if you so wish. Then we're up to number 4, upload and create your book cover. Here you literally click on this, browse for your image where it's saved on your computer, and then click upload your image once you've located it on your computer. They do have a launch cover creator which is in beta format at the moment, whereby you can create your cover using this facility. I wouldn't recommend this at the moment, not because it's not good. They don't. If I click on that, we'll see what save changes, discard changes. I'm not going to do anything to compromise the picture I've already got, but you can launch that. Launch the cover creator, and if you haven't followed any of the other techniques that I've shown you already, you can maybe use this to create a cover. The reason why I say it may be worth avoiding for the time being is that if you ever decide to pull your book off Amazon entirely and put them on other platforms, I'm still not sure of the legalities of this, whether they effectively still own that book cover. I don't know for certain, but it was unclear when I was reading their rules and regs about that, and I'd rather err on the side of caution. So I would make your cover, create your cover separately rather than using this. It may change once it gets into alpha and it becomes a fully fledged cover creator. They may change. Amazon and Kindle are changing all the time. Right, now we come to upload your book file, and before we do that you're given two choices: either protecting your book via enabling digital rights management. There's a certain amount of software which will be enabled, which will disallow lending from people from one Kindle to another, and there's more information about that up here. So you're either given the ability to enable digital rights, intended to inhibit unauthorized distribution of your Kindle file, or you can click to do not enable digital rights. Now in this particular instance I clicked enable. I mean, it's been my policy up until now. I've been in two minds all the time because there are arguments both ways, that I've always enabled it, but I think in the future I'm going to consider not enabling it, because if you enable it you do prohibit the ability of a sort of viral effect taking over, where people say, you really ought to see this book here, I'll lend it to you, and then they'll lend it to someone else. And so there's arguments both ways. Up until now I've enabled it. Gives you a certain amount of protection, but if you want your book to go viral and you know you're going to be following it on with other books and you're building your name, your profile, you might want to consider it the other way. But read the information up here and come to your own conclusions and decisions on that point. Now we come to the point where book content file goes here. You browse for your book, and once again, rather like the cover, browsing for the cover, you locate your Word document, which will be a .doc file for your finished document, and you'll literally, once you've located it through the browsing process, click upload book, and then all being well, upload and conversion successful. There is a new facility here that wasn't here when I first started uploading books, where it'll offer you a spell check. It doesn't say you can't upload this because there are spelling errors. It'll point you in the direction that there may be 5 or 6 or 7 spelling errors, or however many, and it'll give you the option to view them. It'll actually come up with a list, and usually they are, it could be because it could be slang you're using, it could be something that just doesn't fit in with their strict diary. But they're not saying you can't upload it because of these spelling errors. They're just saying, here, take a look at this, double check to make sure that you're okay with this. And so I see that as a positive move. Now you're given the opportunity here in number 6 to preview your book. This is essential because this is at the stage where you can actually determine whether your book looks the way you want it to look, because this is what the public will see, the buying public will see. So I'm going to click on this. So when you click on it, this is what you're given as a view, and it's a depiction of a Kindle Fire. And this is new. I've not seen this recently. You've got a downloadable previewer. So this is how your book looks, the cover in Kindle Fire. And whilst I'm talking about the cover, you'll notice that we created the cover separately from the content. The content was in a Word document, and we didn't actually put the cover in the Word document. You don't need to do that. Kindle will do that when it's all uploaded and converted to Kindle's own version of HTML. They will include the cover for you. So you just upload the cover separately from the content which is in your Word document, and this is how it'll look. So if you look like this, you can scroll through, and this is all looking fairly good. One thing I don't have in this is a table of contents, because this book, being just a very short children's book, did not have a table of contents. But you will see, and it's important to take a look at this, the table of contents, and make sure that they click through to the right locations. Say this is a depiction of a Kindle Fire, and up here there is a tab, a drop down, where you can actually see what would this look like in just a normal Kindle, the basic black and white Kindle. And then you've got how it would look black and white. Not that many kids will be looking black and white, but you never know. And then how would it look on an iPad? So that's all looking fine. So this is your opportunity. If you find that there are problems, this is the time you can just kill this previewer. Do that, just come back to book details, and then you can just make any changes to your Word document or to your cover image if that's where the problem may lie, and then you can just re-upload again. And you can keep doing that until you get it right. And even once the book is published and you want to make changes, you just come back to this same page here and you can make changes to your Word document and upload it, and it'll just overwrite the existing copy, be it the existing copy of the cover image or the Word document. And that's all done seamlessly, and for the buying public they won't notice any different, but you can just effectively just keep updating your document. So if you're happy with that, and I'm not going to, yes, you can download the previewer there, so that's possible as well. So if you're happy with where you're at, you can continue, or if you want to save as a draft and then make more changes, you can do that. But if you're happy, you click on save and continue. And you're into the final page here. You've got the option of worldwide rights or individual territories. Okay, if your book is very specific, geographic specific, and it could just be about something about the Isle of Man, but even then I can't see many reasons why you wouldn't want to select the worldwide rights. So you want to make your book available as wide as possible. So, but if you have a reason where you just want it to be only available to a certain country or to a certain territory, then that's the option that you have there. Finally, we come down to royalty. Now, it seems strange, why would one select less than 70%, i.e. 35%? Well, sometimes you have to select that, and this is all down to pricing. Basically, they will pay you, Kindle will pay you a 70% royalty if your book is priced between $2.99, which this now is, and $9.99. And if it's outside of that price bracket, then you have to select 35%. Okay, now when I first upload a book, I tend to price it quite low because I want to get a lot of interest. I may price it at 99 cents, and then in which case it'll be 35%, and I'll upload the book and I'll do a little bit of promotion, and then once it's got a bit of traction, I'll come back in and I'll make that change to $2.99 or whatever price you feel appropriate for your book. And it'll then work out the delivery cost, which is the digital delivery down to anyone's reading device, be it an iPad or a Kindle Fire or a standard Kindle or even an iPhone. This is the cost for delivery, and so it's it's a few cents, but it is based on file size, so be careful not to have, particularly as we're looking at images for children's books, and images can be quite heavy with file size. Be aware of that. You don't want to have unnecessarily large file sizes. When I'm talking about file size, I'm talking about density of pixels. So be aware of that, because that could add up. A few cents here and a few cents there can make a difference, particularly if you've got a bestseller on your hands and you've got runaway sales. So it'll give you your estimated royalty after their costs, and that's how much you get paid as on a 70% basis. And it'll convert these royalties depending. You need to select these other countries, and it'll do the price conversion for you based on $2.99. And because Amazon's Kindle are trying to attract as much business onto their platform as to other platforms, they are also adding in benefits that you need to be enrolled in KDP Select to get 70% royalty payment in India. I believe it's also the same, yes, down in Japan and Brazil. So I can see this is going to start to happen with more and more of their stores around the world. That, you know, only if you're enrolled in their KDP Select, i.e. you're exclusive with Kindle and not publishing onto other digital platforms, that they will pay you 70%. But if you are publishing on other platforms as well and you're not enrolled, then they will restrict some payments. It's their board game. It's theirs. They can do what they like. They can create the rules. So we just have to roll with that. Okay. So as I say, you can come back. You can change your pricing at any time, and pricing is another whole area that needs looking at, maybe for another course, because that really comes down under a sort of marketing. But I find price it low, price it at particularly for children's books. You really don't want to be too expensive. It's not a hard copy book after all. You didn't have a lot of cost to create it, so you want to make it as affordable as possible and almost like an impulse buy. So $2.99 is fine, and even starting it off at 99 cents to get some real traction and a bit of a following is also worthwhile looking at. Okay, so we're now right at the very end. When the book is priced at a certain level, you don't have any choice, I hear, for allow this lending for this book. It'll be grayed out, but it'll give you details all about that. Again, enrolling into the Kindle book program is all part of that. The final box to tick is by clicking save and publish below. You're acknowledging the terms and conditions for KDP. Important you look at these. I know it's always boring, terms and conditions, but it is very important that you look at these terms and conditions and just be aware of them. And it'll give you a few areas that you should avoid and areas that you should include. I'm not going to get into the whole of that, but that's worthwhile taking 10 minutes to have a look at that. And then finally, and it may seem like it's been a long road, but believe me, once you get used to this whole process, this will be quite a swift process. Not only the uploading, but the whole creation process, but a fun process at the same time, and terribly satisfying. Okay, so finally what you do is you click save and publish. I'm not going to do that with this particular document because it's already published. And then you wait. They say that it'll take, I think it's sort of up to 24-48 hours, but actually I found that they'll usually it goes into a review process, and once you've clicked that, it'll send you back to your bookshelf on the KDP platform, and your KDP dashboard, and your book will show there as a book under review, in review, and it's going to be looked at by the lovely people at Amazon's Kindle, and usually there's not a problem whatsoever, and usually within about 5 or 6 hours it's approved, and then your book goes live. And once that happens, you have got a book which in this case looks like this, and you've got your own dedicated sales page, and you're off and running, and sales will start to come in. This isn't the end of the story. We do need to look at marketing. That again is an area for another whole course. Marketing is not just a 5-minute wonder, but be aware that Amazon's Kindle will do a whole host of marketing for you. I'm going to do one more video which will just discuss certain elements of the sales page, and then I think we'll be drawing to a close. Alright, I'll see you in the next video, and we'll just talk about some very basic promotional aspects and areas you ought to pay attention to.